All right, welcome back to the Shack and First Down Buffalo pregame show, joined now by a good friend of the program. We haven't seen in a long time, but he spent his most successful years in the NFL right here in Buffalo and finished his career in New England. Of course, we're building up to that game on Monday night. Our good pal, former 84 for the Bills, tight end Scott Chandler, joins us on the road. Scotty, great to see you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Bull. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Catch people up because I know you're going to be back here in a couple of weeks leading the charge before the Falcons game, but where are you living? What are you doing these days, man?
Yeah, before the Carolina game. Yeah,
Carolina, I beg your pardon. Yeah.
I live back in Iowa, and I own a real estate investment company with my brother that we started a couple years after I got done playing. And then I'm coaching. I just started this year. I coached high school football, and I liked it so much. I'm coaching a little basketball now too for these kids. So just really enjoy being around the high school kids.
How'd your football team fare?
We had a rough one. We went 3-6 this year. A newer program. I think this is our third or fourth year of varsity football. But man, just I anticipated really liking getting back into competition and being part of a team and the X's and O's that I really loved about football. I think the part that I didn't anticipate was the impact the kids were going to have on me and kind of those relationships that I know won't just be relationships for this year, but I know that I'll get to see these kids for a long time. And it really helped my family become a part of our community a little deeper. And I've just enjoyed it so much that I signed up for basketball right when football was over. So, I enjoy being able to pour into these kids. And, it's funny that they think I'm a lot cooler than my own kids think I am. So they listen to me a lot better.
I hear that a lot from ex-players, actually. So you're coaching basketball at 6'7". Can you still posterize people, my man?
I try not to try so that I can act like I can. I don't know. I might be able to dunk, but I don't know if I'm posterizing anybody these days.
Fair enough. Let's talk about your time in Buffalo. Obviously, your most productive years, 5 years spent here in Buffalo as a Bill. We know, obviously, those were part of the drought years, but they were productive for you, man. 45-ish catches a year. You had 17 touchdowns over those 5 years. You played with a lot of super guys, man, guys that will go down really historically as some of the favorites in Bill's history. Talk about your time in Buffalo and all the things that you enjoyed about being a Bill.
I think first and foremost, the thing that my wife and I still talk about is the people. The fans in Buffalo and the city it's just one of those places that you don't know about it until you're there. And then you're there and it is a special, special place. And I'm so happy that these fans are getting to experience some success. I really wish that when I was there, we would have, been able to kind of get everything together. It seemed like we had front office going one way sometimes and the coaching staff going the other. And it seems like they've got some real stability there now and continuity. And I think that was something that we really struggled with. Sometimes the coaching staff wanted to go one way and the front office wanted to go the other. And, as players, it felt like, man, we have a core group of guys that is really ready to go win. And, we just, as an organization, couldn't get on the same page. So it was pretty frustrating. But at the same time, man, what a group of guys. Guys like Stevie Johnson, Fred Jackson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Donald Jones, Kyle Williams, Aaron Williams, you just have all these great dudes. Jerry Hughes is still there doing it, and all these great dudes that are just, epic dudes. Eric Wood, Eric Pierce, you can go down the line. We just have guys that are great men. And, it was a really, really fun locker room to be a part of. Early in the season, it was a lot of times it was really fun to watch before the injury bug or whatever caught up with us. But man, I look back on that time as, just some of the greatest memories that I'm going to have, and definitely my greatest memories in the NFL.
For sure, man. It was a really fun locker room to cover, and it was great to meet you and kind of be a part of it and travel with you guys on the road for a bunch of years. It was really fun. You were part of a really great group here in Buffalo that I know people, even though you weren't playoff teams, they still appreciate to this day. And that's part of the reason why you're going to come back and lead that charge in a couple of weeks. Obviously, you end your career in New England as a Patriot. You go there, you catch 4 from the GOAT. What was it like going there? By that time, by the time you had gotten there, they had established themselves as winners. Obviously, you had played them obviously many times over the years. So you go there. There's Brady. There's Belichick. What, having been there for your 1 year, were the expectations different? Did they operate different? What makes them and made them so special?
Well, I think all of those things were things that when I went there, it was the organization has continuity. There's a clear chain of command. Your role is defined extremely clearly for you. The off-season program is harder, more intense. You're when you get into training camp, after practice, you're not just going back into the locker room. Like, I mean, Tom was keeping you. Somebody, was usually one or two guys. He's keeping you after for a while, and you're going to run and run and run. And I think for guys that are there for a long time, that really tends to wear them out. And it is very businesslike, and the relationship with, especially the head coach, is very businesslike, and Bill's really honest, really upfront. You always know where you're at. You always know where you stand, but there's not much personal relationship. And I think that guys that are there for a long time end up, almost resenting that. I don't know if resent's the right word, but they wish that was there. For me, I'd come from Buffalo, where we'd kind of had some, coaching turmoil. Marone had just headed out for, he got his money and left, which, I think at the time was surprising for sure. But, looking back, I don't think he and the front office were on the same page at all. And so to go there and have just complete continuity, and everybody understands their job, comes to work ready to work hard, and is working towards one goal, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. And I know Bills fans hate to hear that. And honestly, I wasn't looking to go to New England, first of all. They offered me the most money and the best role, I thought, for myself. And I don't look back on that time, as a bad time. I mean, I learned a ton. My body just was breaking down. Really, my knee was getting pretty bad. And I think that probably ended up being why the Bills cut me in the first place. But man, I went there and I learned so much. And like, it was almost like I wish I would have gone there earlier in my career and then gone to a place like Buffalo, where I could have had a little better perspective on maybe, hey, these are the kind of things we need to do. And maybe I would have been able to be a better leader there, honestly. But, I think that what the Patriots and Bill do well, or, he's incredibly smart. He would tell you what was going to happen in the game, and then it would happen in the game. And like, I mean, he felt like he was clairvoyant at times, but man, I really, really like what the Bills have done since I left there, just getting Sean McDermott and, Brandon in there, and those guys have such continuity. They have the same vision, and everything that they do seems to, be along the lines. There's nothing that happens out of the blue with the Bills, like everything seems to make sense now. And, man, they're so much fun to watch. I love watching Josh and Stephon, and watching Micah and Poyer get after it in the secondary. And, you've got some playmakers all over the field. Obviously, Dawson just broke the tight end touchdown record last week. And, you missed like 3 weeks of the season, and we're in week 12. Now, we won't talk about the asterisk, a 17-game season. He's got that extra game to get the record that I didn't have. No, we're not going to talk about that. No, but, he's obviously a dynamic guy in the red zone, and man, they're just so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of tight ends, obviously you just mentioned Dawson, and the Patriots have been, Mac Jones has been using Henry and Jonnu Smith more and more and more in their game plans going forward, and they have been on an incredible run. 6 straight wins. I think they're 6-1 in the conference going into this game, and the Bills, since the bye, we know, have been kind of up and down and topsy-turvy. Even though the Bills are home on Monday night and favored, should be a great game. I mean, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a game where you got to take care of the ball for sure, because that's one thing that they're going to harp on. And then situational football will be huge, getting touchdowns in the red zone, converting third downs. all of those plays that kind of fall that you don't always notice from a macro level, but when you break down the game into these micro situations, these 4-point plays is what we called them in New England, where if we can get we can get a touchdown out of a drive instead of a field goal. All of those little things matter, and it's going to be a tight game. I just don't see one of these teams running away with it. I think that the competition level is going to be high, and I mean, where else would you rather be than Bills Patriots Monday night in Buffalo?
For sure, man. Well, listen, I know you got to get to hoops practice. I don't know
Yep.
what your specialty is, if it's in the paint or popping the three from the top of the key. I don't know, whatever. But you're going to explain it and read it out to and draw it up on the clipboard, I'm sure, to your team out there in Iowa. We really appreciate you coming on, man. Love to see you. Can't wait to see you here for the Panther game in a couple of weeks. Drive safe, obviously.
Yep.
And we'll talk soon, man. I appreciate you doing this.
All right, thanks, Bill. Go Bills.
Go Bills.